Hi, I'm Crabtree, and this is a short video. Essentially, I was doing an experiment for myself, and I found the results quite interesting, so I thought I'd post them for you to check out. It's about snare drum tuning. Now, you may have seen some of the other videos that I've put up online about tuning. One of them, I demonstrated a tuning method that I got from Udo Mashoff, which is a pretty cool way of getting a decent snare sound very quickly. You can just do certain numbers of turns on each of the lugs and you'll get a snare drum sound that's very usable and you have a lot of control over. However, I've been finding that it's got a bit of a kind of honky, low overtone ringiness to it that I didn't like so much, and I wanted to compare that to the way I used to tune the snare, which was even tuned on the bottom and even tuning on the top head. And I also wanted to experiment with a couple of different tunings. Now, if you're sitting at the kit and you're tuning your snare drum and you hit it and you think that sounds pretty good, and then you make some adjustments and you hit it again and you think that sounds pretty good, it's hard to tell which is better. So what I wanted to do was record the different settings and then I could play them back next to each other and get an idea of which sound I prefer. Now, I'm a big fan of John Bonham, and the snare drum sound I'm going for is a Bonham sound. I found some other videos on YouTube where people had suggested TuneBot settings. So this TuneBot, I think, is a great product, and it really helps to just have a reference for something to go for, to get there, and then know that it's going to sound a certain way. So the videos that I'm going to show you in a second, the first couple are the way that I've had my snare tuned for the tour so far, and that was using the Udo method. So the Udo method, as you'll see in the other video that you'll see a link to in the description, is not an evenly tuned head. It's much tighter at sort of 12 o'clock and loose so that there's wrinkles down at 6 o'clock. And that kind of gets rid of some of the high overtones, but like I say, introduces some other sort of sounds, some lower ringing that I'm not so keen on. So that's the first one, and then the second one, all I did was tune the bottom head higher. So originally it was about 350 Hertz according to TuneBot, and I tuned it up to about 400 Hertz, and that's where I then left the bottom head for the rest of the videos. So you'll first of all hear the difference between the top head staying the same and the bottom head changing. That's the only thing that changes between the first two videos. In fact, let's check those out and then you can hear how changing that bottom head tension affected the sound of the drum. Okay, so then I wanted to go back to an even tuning of the top head. So the rest of the videos you're going to see, the bottom head stays at 400 Hertz, evenly tuned. The top head, first of all, I took it to about 274 Hertz according to TuneBot, and made that even all around. So I'm going to show you the videos that have the top head at 274, and you'll hear some with the snares off, some with the snares on. And then you'll hear the top head tuned to 295 Hertz, some with the snares off, some with the snares on. And then you'll hear the top head tuned to 300 Hertz. So the difference between 295 and 300, 5 Hertz, it's not very much. And you might kind of think, oh, it probably sound pretty much the same. But there is a noticeable difference, particularly I thought in the body of the snare drum without the snares on. So just the open tone of the drum. And I preferred it around 295. So that's the setting I'm going to be using for the rest of the tour. And I've made a note of that so that I can always tune my snare drum and get that sound out of it when I want. But what I find useful about making these videos is I now have a reference of what it would sound like to have the snare tuned at 300 Hertz or 274 Hertz. So if you've got the patience and a camera, you can do the same thing. Get a TuneBot, do different tunings of the top head, and then you can just have samples that you maybe store on your iPhone or something. And if you're in a session and somebody wants a different sounding snare drum, a different pitch of it, you can go through and go, well, do you want this one? Do you want this one? Do you want this one? And you'll be able to hear how your specific drum sounds tuned to certain pitches. And with the tune bot, you can then go ahead and very quickly get it to sound exactly like your reference. So that's the reason that I think this thing is great. It's much easier than having a reference where you're trying to tune by ear, because you know exactly the settings that you had for the drum when you recorded those samples. Anyway, so I'll play the Udo ones again just so you can hear them side by side, and then they're going to go straight into the versions where the top head is evenly tuned, and I'll again put on the screen what it is that you're listening to. So if you've enjoyed this video, if you find it useful, you want to check out some more of my stuff, head over to joecrabtree.com. Here we go.